Hey guys, what's up? It's Kip. I'm on my way home from North Carolina. Had an absolutely fantastic time. This class was really awesome for me, and there's more than just one reason. And actually, what I'd like to share with you is a couple of quick things because I mention it all the time. I get to go all over the place. I never get to really see the sights. I mean, I can be by the ocean. It's 100 yards away, but I don't get to go put my feet in the sand. Just because it doesn't always play out that way while I'm there. However, what I do get that's so much cooler and so much nicer than getting to see the sights is I get to meet the people. Well, in this class, that was no different, but a couple of things weighed on me pretty heavily emotionally. And one is, during the class, we do an introduction, of everyone, and I get to shake hands and kind of ask people about who they are and why they got into EMS or fire or nursing or whatever. And in this class, we had a real young kid, and 18 years old, just super, just a smiley kid. You can tell he's a bright young man just by the way he talks. Well, first thing, as we're doing our introductions, and I talked to him a little bit about hobbies, he mentions that he's, done the Boy Scout, and he's an Eagle Scout thing. Well, like most things, when I was a kid and I'm 18 years old, being an Eagle Scout didn't really mean anything to me because I was more interested about fumes, and those fumes might be exhaust fumes and perfumes. So meaning I was worried more at 18 about driving neat cars or dating pretty girls. So I didn't have that kind of a focus to be an Eagle Scout. But now that I'm almost 50 years old, I look back on it and realize that Eagle Scout thing is it's an honor. I mean, not everybody is an Eagle Scout, and that took a lot of hard work on his part. So what it makes me do in my brain is, as I'm shaking his hand and thinking about it, I'm like, hey, you know what? This kid is in EMS, and he's a really bright young man. Well, when I asked them what they, are wanting to do, in the future because he's so young, or what he's wanting to do, he mentions that his goal, and it has always been his goal, is he wants to be a pararescue man. So now my brain is going, wow, man, this kid has really got it together. So he's an Eagle Scout, he's brilliant, he's very intelligent, he's obviously hardworking, and the PJ kind of guys are no different than the SEAL or the Special Forces. Those people are different because, unlike me, they have something in their brain that makes them go, I'm willing to go one step further. Where I would be, I'm going to take my toys and go home because I've had enough. That's what separates those elite people from many others, is that their brain is different. It's wired differently to say, I don't give up, I won't stop, I won't do anything. Well, so I can appreciate those qualities, and I see those qualities in this young man. He's obviously someone who doesn't give up. What he says next really kind of hit my heart, and I mean, it went right straight through. So he makes a comment then saying he was so excited that the class was finally coming here because he'd been watching the DT for EMS Facebook page for quite some time. He had liked it, and he liked what we said, and he thought it was an important subject, and that since he'd been following us, it was the way he said it. It meant the world to me that he's like, man, I was excited to be here, and I couldn't wait for it to happen, and here he is. So, and I will tell you something, through training, it was obvious this kid was fantastic. He's brand new into the field, 18 years old, but if I would have been a seasoned medic and I had this kid as a new partner, I would be ecstatic to have an EMT partner like him, because all he wanted to be was a sponge to learn anything and everything he could about being the best he could be at doing whatever it is he wanted to do. So that's the first thing that I wanted to share with you that was absolutely tugged on my heartstrings like there's no tomorrow. The second thing, during class, there's always a time, and you can ask anyone that's attended, and those of you that have been in class know what I'm talking about or what I'm about to share. And that is that there's usually a moment in time where I find a way to explode with emotion, and that emotion could be based upon either an intellectual subject, an emotional subject, or a physical skill, technique, or even a tactic. It's something where I'm seeing something in a room, and I'm able to bring someone to that point, and I lull them into doing something on purpose. Because when I do that, that person, for whatever reason, whether it be based upon a mindset, a definition, a topic, or a physical skill, any of the time that thing presents itself and I explode with emotion, I can get the whole class to go, that's right. Well, one of the items happened during the class when I had already knew this guy as I shook his hand, and he smiled a lot. He speaks very kindly, But I'm saying that this dude is one of those kind of guys that when you consider the quote, which is, wise men fear, and when I remember who it is, maybe I'll put the link to it in here, but there's a quote that I had heard once, and it said there's 3 things that a wise man fears: a moonless night, a sea and storm, and the wrath of a gentle man. So when I first shook this guy's hand and we were talking, he's got an amazing smile that is very disarming. And then the other thing is that he is incredibly strong. I mean, incredibly, genetically just born a monster. I mean, incredibly strong. So when I shook his hand, I thought, oh my goodness, this guy's got sledgehammers for fists, and he's one of those guys that's born with just these super huge wide shoulders that looks like he bench presses tanks, but it's just natural. Well, anyway, so my mind, the human animal, tells me this is a wonderful dude, but he's not somebody that I would ever want to have angry. Just so happens during class he's having trouble doing something that has to do with speed but not strength. And it's something that a lot of strong people wrestle with in their life. So I'm wanting to now use him because everybody in the class has no doubt that this dude is incredibly strong, and they probably have the same thing in the back of their mind, which is, man, I would hate to ever have to tangle with this guy. So I go over, and because he's doing something that would allow him to be constantly struck in real life, I now have to take it up a notch. So I go over and I put our full face protection helmet on him, and while I pause the class, he is now going to help me with this emotional statement. He just doesn't know it yet. So I put the helmet on him, I begin to wolf him by barking, cussing at him, and by surprise, I punch him dead in the face quickly and hard. The helmet stops that, and then of course I can see it because it's what I'm looking for, is I can see now the surprise in his face, in his eyes, that he's thinking, holy crap. Well, while his brain is still processing, and that's race for those of you that has trained with us, while his brain is still processing what happened, I'm yelling at him again, and I punch him dead in the face again. Instantly now, it becomes real to him that this is not cool. He now does what he's supposed to do, and I can't even get close to punching his face. I am throwing hard and fast shots, alternating hands, still barking the same way I was at him a moment ago, and I can't punch his face. Everybody in the room now goes, oh my gosh, because I can tell you can do it. I can show you a video of me working it with all kinds of other people, but you don't believe it until you see it for yourself in real life, that you can do this, that self-defense is different than winning a fight. So anyway, we take the helmet off of him, and you can see his expression is now changed. And the whole class now goes, we're going to pay attention now. There's a reason that I'm telling you how important he is. I've done that in a lot of classes all over the country with people that can beat the shit out of me, should they want to. The point was the wrath of a gentle man. So I'm trying to show the emotional change, and I'm also trying to show if you will just stop thinking for a minute and just do what I'm asking you to, use an open mind, that maybe there's something I can share with you, because what I do is train people who don't go around the world as fighters, as tough guys, as ninjas, that are real people, how to defend themselves, and that it's different than winning a fight. So flash forward, it's the end of the class, end of day 2. That was during day 1 that this happens. Here's this guy who has the strength to bench press, pickup trucks, who I would never want to fight. At the end of class, we're leaving. He's, waited around for other people to, have talked to him. He's waited around now. He's shaking my hand, and he leans forward and he says, and it's the way he says it, it was very emotional to me. He says, you lit a fire under me like nothing before. And he's basically given me this, this made a difference. This is giving me something. I'm going to work on this. I want to practice. I want to train. I want to do something. And I'm taking it as a deal of that it had nothing to do with train how to beat people up. I'm taking it as a moment in time, him saying, look, as a healthcare provider, going around loving, to do what I do, you've given me something to think about, and maybe I can use this to help others. This is the message that he's giving me with what he's telling me as he continues. And guys, there's not much more emotional stuff on the planet than that, than for someone to say something like that. So I've got that kid, and then I've got him, and I'm telling you, so for emotionally, this was huge. And if you've trained with me before, at the end of a class, when we talk like this, you guys know you're what I do this for. You're what means everything to me. And if you leave a class with something, one little thing, then I've done what I'm supposed to do. So it was great. Thanks for watching.